didn't work out for them. But let's hop into Champions Select, Papa Smithy. See what KSV are going to be banning away. Soul's Kog'Maw, no surprise that one's going to be taken away, even on the blue side.
Yeah, big favorite for Soul, and they do love to go for the hyper carry composition, so no surprise that we're going to be seeing Kog'Maw banned on blue side. And Crown had to go at Zoe, had to deal with the Galio, won the game, but certainly didn't have a big impact himself, so he's like, screw it. Not going to like the Zoe in this particular game.
Yep, so
and it was Edge.
understandable as well.
It was Edge as well in our first night of League of Legends, popping off on the Zoe, so some good respect there.
Yeah, he looked really good on the Zoe. In fact, hasn't died on the champion yet, and certainly won't this game because he's not going to be playing her. KSB with one remaining ban. Will we be hitting that 80 carry pool? We've seen a lot of experiments with Kalista being left up and Ezreal being left up, and it looks like at least one of them is going to get through. As Azir taken away from Edge, they are respecting that guy. And I did mention the fact that he did have some decent KDAs on the Azir, so just attack that champion pool.
What about that Galio? Feels like the Gargoyle is back in a big way in the LCK. First picked by SK Telecom yesterday and by other teams as well. And the Jungle Jack's actually banned away from Haru. So traditionally you think about something like an Ezreal in this scenario, but it's Ruler who might just first pick the Varus, or they could be going for the Galio that I mentioned. So a lot up here now that we've
Kalista as well. I mean, she's been standing out like a sore thumb.
We've been definitely moving around, there's a lot of different ideologies on what's good. The 380 carry must bans have been pushed away, but Kalista has not. On the PBE for patch 8.3, some significant nerfs to her, at least being mooted, but for now still at full power. But you will be trading Galio and Kalista in this current meta, and now suddenly
Kongdoo.
Kalista is like, well, the bouncy castle is ready to go on the side of Kongdoo.
Yeah, it's a real bad time, but the best thing about Kalista is that it's going to empower Core JJ. So Core JJ, always fantastic at getting these fights started.
Is it time?
What is he going to be picking up?
Oh, I thought it might be Varus Braum time on the blue side. 4-0 Varus, 4-0 Braum for KSV. Core JJ, our resident Braum player. But the Malzahar is a very good laning matchup. It was actually Kuro that debuted this matchup.
Yeah, that was sort of his secret plan.
It was against Faker's Galio way back when in spring season of last year. If you can get your items early enough and avoid stuff, you have some chunk potential on Galio when basically no one else does. So Malzahar into Galio was one of the few picks that worked in the old iteration of Galio, and he hasn't changed too much. He's looked for a bit more emphasis on ability power, and then, okay, we're getting risky. We're going against double engage and a global, and they're saying, well, I'll still make the gangplank work.
Well, the Ezreal, of course, has to be locked in here for Kongdoo. They've got a pretty fantastic first-round draft as we head into the second round of bans. But over the side of KSV, it looks like there haven't been too many bans against them either, with some real priority going their way too. And we're attacking the support pool, which does make sense. Core JJ certainly has some standouts. But I think Tahm Kench probably needs a look at, or the Braum. I feel like leading with a Taric ban is almost dangerous because, I don't know. I guess they get one of them, right?
I think picking Tahm Kench first, banning Braum is the way you want to go because you kind of expect it to be Varus.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I mean, we gotta have the Kalista already, but they can go for Alistar. They're actually pretty free here when it comes to supports. When you have Kalista, extra supports jump up, like Alistar in the laning phase.
Theoretically, Leona as well. Fun stuff.
We'll choose to ban the Tahm Kench, which, again, is a fine choice against the side of KSV.
Looking to stand behind Braum by the looks of things. We'll see whether KSV get rid of it. Core JJ jealously guarding his most successful pick so far.
Teams are liking the Gangplank into Gnar more and more, even though we saw it as a counter pick before, and that's why you actually see Gnar left up. They're confident that if it is to be a top lane Gnar, that QV can just find enough sustain to be able to sustain through, and the initiation does not end on the side of Kongdoo Monster.
Oh my god, there are a lot of opportunities here. I feel like Kongdoo are going to be lacking damage though, with the Galio, of course, building a little bit more damage, but still not being a consistent threat coming out of that mid lane. Definitely more of a frontliner, so Roach might actually head towards some other carry option. The Braum, understandably, is going to be therefore locked in. Core JJ and QV, and Ruler are going to have a decent time towards the bottom side of the map. And what's Haru going to play? His Rengar is still available. He can just hop back onto the kitty if he likes.
Does seem like the sort of game where Rengar might be tussled with a bit too much, but it is Haru, so we always expect the more aggressive side of the matchups. Kha'Zix's available too, but not the sort of comp that Kha'Zix does well against. And we're going to see Haru go aggressive, but in a different way. Pick that has been Feast or Famine here. Spirit having an excellent game on the Shyvana, and then much more Struggle Street for Wolf when he jumped on it. So Shyvana here kind of requires her lanes to be in a good spot. But then you look at the lanes, and they're going to largely be pushed in and harassed. So you wonder here if with Vladimir locked in, which is left available to be taken into the gangplank this late, a lot of pressure lanes for the side of Kongdoo Monster. Turret dives aplenty, and KSV drafted similarly to this, you'll remember, in Game 1 against Afrika, and were pretty heavily punished. And now they leave open the door for admittedly a weaker team than Afrika, but another team to look for win lane win.
Whoa! At least one person is extraordinarily excited about Kongdoo.
And Kongdoo is a multi-esports org with a very solid fandom.
Yeah?
Which makes sense, and same fan I heard a few days ago who still in full spirits, so it's good to see some loyalty.
Certainly lost their voice a little bit, though.
Hashtag KDM win. If you are a Kongdoo fan, definitely represent. Won't be too many people calling out for a Kongdoo win in this particular game, as unfortunately we have a pause. We'll wait for Joel to jump onto Discord to confirm.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. He's confirmed it's a pause.
He said it was a pause. Yeah, good.
Okay.
All
we
right,
weren't
that's
sure.
Great. I believe it might be Crown, as we're just checking out his bling. Did get very jealous because he managed to get them to create jerseys that were exactly the same.
Sounds like there's a bit of an electrical issue here, so hopefully it's going to be fixed up, some cords and things like that.
I hope we get a little thing that says electrical issue at the bottom. That's a new one. We haven't had electrical
And then Kenan
issue.
says yes, yes, yes.
Oh, dear. It's too early. It's too early for that.
It does feel early, even though it is 5 p.m. Korean Standard Time.
Yeah.
And still streaming in here. Sort of match day where we will usually have a lot of global fans because there isn't, one of the big teams that really pushes ticket sales. Yep. We fill up for the big matches, but when it's going to be Kongdoo Monster, it's a bit harder for them to fill up our stadium here in Sangam.
It is also, it's a little bit easier now to get walk-ins, though, so it's a great opportunity if you've got a day that doesn't necessarily have all of the big ones. As electrical issue has been sorted out, patched up the cable.
Yay!
Back into the game. Here we go. KSV versus Kongdoo. We were talking about the compositions, didn't really get to go into why we liked Kongdoo after the Vladimir was picked up, and I just think it's brilliant for adding that extra damage, especially with the amp on the Hemoplague, helping all of the other sort of AoE cluster wombo combo type damage that we have available to us.
Yeah, there's lots of words to use it. The bouncy castle, dogpile, that's what they're going to be doing here, Kongdoo Monster. Everyone's to be initiator except for Ezreal, who has self-heals. He doesn't need a Tahm Kench standing next to him. A lot of initiation options. The reason why I like it, it's even better than some of the earlier Vladimir comps we're seeing in Week 1. I think back to Kingzone's attempt to run Vladimir with the Lee Sin second game of the season, is that Vladimir against the Gangplank goes for Unsealed Spellbook, takes Ignite, winning trades basically at every point of the lane, zone him off turret, he can turret dive, and guess what? Galio's also there to guarantee a kill through something like a stopwatch or the ultimate coming down. Having that extra CC to compound the sheer damage from the Vladimir, who will be going, of course, for the Frost Queen's GP10 build, allows them to cap off, pressure. It's not just going to be extra autos onto a turret. It's going to be a kill. It's going to be pretty guaranteed, especially if Raze is in position. So whenever you have these very high damage champions who can turret dive, adding on Galio, as long as they have any semblance of mid lane control, does really amp up the chance for Kongdoo Monster to punish what we've said from KSV is so much scaling that honestly should be punished at the highest level.
Yeah. I also feel like Vladimir scales just fine up against the Gangplank as well as the game moves into what could inevitably be the ultra late game. Can't rule it out. KSV is in the game and they're very, very good at taking it as long as possible, but I believe that Vladimir should be able to stand that test of time. Saw yesterday just how good the Vampire Man can be with 6 items and getting the right position in a flank.
See if Haru can reinvent the wheel on the Shyvana at all. Can go for the very tricky first jungle upgrade into attempting the Drake, taking the Cloud kind of under the nose of Raze, but for now he's just looking for vision on the camps to spot out where he's at. Haru had the very fast level 4 and Tracker's Knife complete.
Yep.
At the competitive level, you can't get away with the Skirmisher Saber, sadly, so you lose out on that extra damage potential from the press of the attack.
We've got Kongdoo Monster actually setting themselves up for a gank here. You can see Raze very, very deep, opts out. But there's no... Oh my god, the knock-up actually does go through, but Ruler will be able to get himself to relative safety. Core JJ is in for the assist. Can they actually turn this one around? Good. Snare comes in. But the exhaust not going to be enough to slow down Secret for long enough. Haru's not going to really offer too much more. The Flame Breath is all that he's going to be able to do, and he's just going to wander back to farming more camps. A lot of action, not a lot of results.
Yeah, Raze's mechanics baited himself into a follow flash that was wholly unnecessary. He'd already got the knock-up. The Electrocute proc wasn't going to be enough for Soul to be able to capitalize. He was too far away to do any further damage, so they end up over-investing in flashes there, not being able to get Core JJ, so it only ends up being a single flash. A trade of 2 from the side of Kongdoo Monster. I love the angle. Raze has been very creative in ganking on the blue side as Jarvan. He also went for the Blasting Plant gank in their first series and really caught the enemy unawares there. So good creativity, but an overinvestment and no kill to show for it.
Yeah, not finding it this time around. See Edge happily just as punching his way around this lane, trying to get out of the way of Crown, who's just spamming his abilities.
Crown hasn't gone for the GP10 Malzahar build. Isn't going to be going for the Spooky Ghost or the Frost Queen's Claim. As far as we can tell so far, going towards the Lost Chapter and the Merlinomicon.
Yeah.
Against Vladimir, you don't really have the same latitude to either skip Merlinomicon or get it later, so the mid-game fights, having that heal reduction onto the Vladimir does really help out.
We also know how notorious Crown is for building Merlinomicon and the Liandry's Torment. Does like to do it on basically every champion that he possibly can. And that will certainly be coming in next. Liandry's fantastic against the Galio. And these are other tanky champions he's going to have the opportunity to chew down on the health of. Haru getting a little bit aggressive. Might be able to get behind Edge here, but will have enough mobility and also tankiness to probably not mean that the gank will be successful. So just calming down. 10 CS lead for Roach up towards the top side.
Bit of a strange buy. It feels like Roach went back with 50 less gold than he would have wanted because he ended up with the Kindle Gem instead of just the Blasting Wand on the way to the Frost Queen's Claim.
Probably wants more CDR though. That's 20% with one buy. It's not bad.
I agree. It gives him a lot of presence early, but min-maxing your first back to just get a straight-out Frost Queen's Claim is usually what we see with a Vladimir, just because you get the quest so much early, and the extra movement speed is what makes what makes him so potent. The ability to have that 50% movement speed on a, basically on a Q or an auto is really massive for the Vladimir when it comes to guaranteeing the trades between Crimson Rush and also the quest. But it's going to be a little bit delayed because you still get the minion penalty if you do not upgrade it completely with the Frost Queen's Claim.
Yep. Of course, those playing at home, not going to be happening so much when we do hit 8.2. So still relevant now, not going to be relevant for too much longer.
I'm really interested to see what pro players make of the 8.2 meta. Some people think that all the relic shields outside of tank supports will be gone. There's a penalty there for the ranged holders does mean that double is de-incentivized for the AD carry and you don't have the quest anymore. So I think for AD carries, that's the most likely place to push out. But I think the AP junglers who love the Frostfang will still be considering it. Could go Skirmisher's Saber or Chilling Smite and then just get the Frostfang into, Sightstone, which is something you need. You go Tracker's Knife anyway, so there might still be some freedom for AP junglers, but
I was thinking about Jungle Diana while I was reading about it the entire time.
Absolutely, it's definitely a thing you can consider, and Shyvana doesn't get too much out of AP, but does have a 1.7 AP ratio, so while it does seem perhaps over-ambitious for pro play, outside chance we'll see it in solo queue.
Slight change onto Aftershock as well, making the idea even more exciting. I think I'm just getting a little bit too excited about potential Jungle Diana. But yeah, I agree. I feel like it will be definitely a different landscape, which is good. Games have been going relatively slowly. In 8.1, just need a little bit of a refresher, and it will be helpful, especially with the bottom lanes possibly getting more fiery without all of the Relic Shield nonsense.
So against the draft, this is a smart Dragon take from the side of KSV. This is just about back timings. They saw that Edge had backed away. They have 2 advanced wards to see there was going to be a face check from Raze. And with that passive doing extra damage, nice stuff there.
Crown's in trouble. Yeah, Heroic Entrance is actually going to get him down as well, as Crown will be flashing. Will the Flag and Drag actually get in here? Raze is trying to get there, but no, not going to happen. If he had an auto with a red buff, like that could have been a dead Crown.
Agreed, and Crown was surprisingly resilient using his flash early, wanted to flash the furthest distance and waited to go over the wall and calculated his health bar very well there, so smart of him to get away. No further punishment for Kongdoo. That's the first hero's entrance, very long cooldown.
Yeah.
Being wasted largely. Test is on though. Haru will try to smite this one away, and Crown's here too.
Yep, he's going to be able to get it. A little bit dangerous. I feel like Haru possibly could have contested that one a little bit better, but never mind.
No smite available.
Ah, yes.
Man.
Sometimes my eyes just don't see. A little bit left on the timer. So it will mean that he'll just grab his Gromp, though. Not too worried. Bloodrazor very close to being picked up for Haru. And is going to grab it right now.
It's always the point where we should say, Kongdoo Monster, a lot of options in the early to mid game. Scaling in the advantage of KSV. What does it all mean? And we always have to ask that question of, if scaling's left unchecked, it's the winner. At the end of the day, if you can farm equally with a champion that's better later, then you go for it every time. KSV try to approach most drafts with that idea to outscale. Even in the interview, they talked about the importance of scaling in this meta. Kongdoo has so many tools to punish them. Still waiting to see that first punishment happen, because for now, even in terms of objectives, KSV's ahead. They have the only Drake of the game.
Yeah. Down, theoretically, 100 gold, but who cares about that when they've got a Gangplank, Malzahar, Shyvana type composition with not to mention Kalista and Braum on the bottom side of the map. Feeling very comfortable. Just didn't think that they'd be able to have this amount of competitiveness within the lanes. Felt like Kongdoo Monster should have been able to get at least excessive vision control. Dragon's Ascent's going to go down in the mid lane. Lots of damage from Haru with that Bloodrazor. That's a stopwatch. Edge just trying to buy time, but Justice Punch not going to be able to get him anywhere. There's another one. It's Haru. He's going to go golden as well, and somehow Malefic Vision's not going to be enough, and Edge survives.
Yeah, Edge also channeled his W at the perfect time to actually drop damage. Had a Catalyst already, plenty of tankiness, the 2 Doran's rings as well. Stopwatch has to be invested, but the high value thing early for Edge. He'll teleport back. No harm, no foul. Good attempt there by KSV, but it's only a 50-50 overall between the two teams. There's no advancement for Kongdoo Monster, and that's just fine for the side of KSV.
Yeah. It's going to be the Negatron picked up, broken stopwatch sold by Edge. Probably will get his Zhonya's later, but didn't want to sacrifice the slot that the Magic Resist could have occupied. Haru getting chased out a little bit here by Raze, who's a very long way from home and has been able to get a lot of vision here into this jungle.
Yeah, pushing up vision here, making Shyvana predictable. Takes away her one trick. Her one trick is showing up to a team fight and doing a lot of damage. Doesn't really do anything other than damage, short of situational knockback with the ultimate. So making her predictable allows you to play very, very safely. Can't be too inventive with the Shyvana. Waiting for the second item for her real power spike. Getting the frozen mallets when her teamfight presence goes from decent to really popping off. So, but now it's going to be more farming for Haru.
Well, speaking of farming, things going absolutely fine for Crown in the mid lane, and Roach still ahead of QV, who's probably ahead in gold because Kleptomancy's pretty silly. Another thing that I'm pretty happy is getting slowed down a little bit in 8.2.
It's going to be pretty equal. The first Queen's claim has been done for a couple of minutes, so...
Oh, that's true, that's true.
The quest is going to start halting the advancement, but I take your point. It's mid lane. This might be Crown's death chamber.
Really nice timing on the stopwatch, though. Avoids the knockup. And speaking of knockups, in comes Secret. Good slow is going to come forward, and that is going to be the kill picked up with the Pulverize. Haru in trouble, but now Core JJ's here. Will they actually be able to lock them down? Good double knockup, but Edge, he's going to be able to get the double taunt, and Cuvee, he's making his way down, but won't get there in time. Kongdoo Monster, they grab the kill and get out, but a lot invested and a lot of people moving towards the mid lane.
Yeah, a bit of an air of desperation there from Kongdoo Monster, realizing, okay, we have these ultimates, we haven't been using them, 12 minutes onto the timer. It does end up being a 1-for-0. That's what they needed to do. They should be trading up in any sort of early game skirmish because all their tools and champions are ready to go at this point in the game. So a 1-for-0, it's kind of the minimum standard for them. It's a good moment for Kongdoo.
Yeah. Abyssal Mask does come in for Edge here as well as he goes back to base. Few items now getting finished up. Sol feeling very good on the Ezreal as far as his itemization, and probably want to wait until Secret's Flash is available, but Kongdoo do want to be making a move, at least before that 20-minute mark. Haru heading towards the Rift Herald, and this just will not last that long. Just feels so brilliant to get the Bloodrazor because you just feel like you can kill everything way too fast.
Good for the Observer there. Raze had him back, so he was very afraid of basically Shyvana coming through the enemy jungle and killing him at red buff, so couldn't advance any vision, couldn't check it. He didn't have any defensive vision there, Kongdoo Monster, so good play around vision, but always fun to see the what-ifs there. There really was the what-if for Raze of, I could just die here trying to take red. It was a certain level of greed, but we know that it was going to be the Rift Herald to profit Haru.
Yep. Roach now 2 item spike with the Proto Belt completed as well. Going to continue shoving things under this turret. About half the health of top lane outer, but otherwise no turrets really to speak of for either team. Mid lane very healthy on both sides. Same for the bottom lane, just clearing out minion waves. And it is Kongdoo having the advantage on top side, which is the only thing we can talk about when it comes to the structures. Rift Herald going to give Haru a decent opportunity to grab the second Drake of the game, give him more of those permanent defensive stats. Certainly something that they want to be heading towards just because it is a Mountain Drake to augment their cloud that they've already picked up.
But it is, like you know, kind of alluding to Atlas, data checklist moment. We're kind of looking and seeing what's happening, what the state of the game is, because when the globals are down for Kongdoo Monster, it kind of feels like without Hero's entrance, we won't be seeing too much action. The Rift Herald is going to be available at any moment, and now we're looking at the setup for the Mountain Drake. KSV loves denying them, but also being able to put them on the board against the runner play. We saw a back from Secret cancelled. So a bit of a tense moment after what has been largely a farming first 15 minutes. And
it's also one of the first Alices that we've seen without the unsealed spellbook as well. So not going to be seeing cows appearing out of nowhere on the map this time, as Roach is going to go aggressive onto Cuvée underneath the turret. Hemoplague's not going to be nearly enough, but gets him out of the lane. Should have to use his teleport in order to get back. And with Kleptomancy instead of Unsealed Spellbook, it's going to be a bit longer on that cooldown. Heading back towards top side, but Roach still might be able to get some work done here. They're trying to get Haru in here with the Dragon's Descent. We can't see exactly what has happened. He's going to get knocked up. Haru does get in here as the Hero's entrance comes down. Stopwatch, perfect timing as in comes Raze. Just set up to get this one done. Flash forward from Roach is going to be able to grab it onto Haru. Just completely no fear on this Vladimir as they lock that one down. Cuvée could be in trouble, gets slowed down by the Frost Queen's claim, but will speed himself back up again with the barrels. True Shot Barrage to help that mid lane stay alive, and Kongdoo looking good at 15.5 minutes.
And again, it's all about the draft. KSV read that situation super well, Atlas, but in the end, it didn't matter. Cuvee's gonna look for the chase onto Raze, but I think he's too tanky, realistically. But while we were watching it, the information we had staring at the middle of the screen was gonna be Shyvana there, Vladimir greeting for the turret dive. Surely advantage to KSV, but no, the globals are there. The roam comes through from Raze as well. This is how Kongdoo Monster drafted. They continue to trade up as they should, and KSV, you know, just presented themselves with an opportunity for Kongdoo Monster to take full advantage of their early game.
Yeah, and I feel like Kongdoo Monster haven't been able, like even in games that they've been winning, their laning phase has not been super great. Their 1v1, 2v2s haven't necessarily worked out. What's been winning them games is being able to get around the map and do the things at the right times. And a lot of that's to do with Raze getting good early ganks and things like that. This isn't working out for them so well as Shelly comes in and topples the mid lane outer turret to even that one out. But Kongdoo are all about making the correct plays for their composition, and I've liked what they've been doing so far, even if it hasn't netted them a massive lead so far.
Frustrating thing for viewers at home is, kind of at the back of your mind, you have to keep asking yourself, is it enough? Is it enough? And
yeah.
the question, the answer to that so far in this couple of weeks has been emphatically no. You know, at the end of the day, getting advantage to a point has been turned around again and again and again by scaling. So, Kongdoo Monster, you can never pat yourself on the back in the 8.1 meta. You've never done enough to win a game short of an ultra-fed top lane carry like Fiora and Jace during 2 or 3 aggro, but there's only one Khan in the league, so for these teams especially, they're inching forward, but let's see how this goes. Roach so far has been dominating Cuvée.
Yep. Roach is just going to pass by, though, in the Sanguine pool.
That's some nice CS values for Roach.
Yeah, real nice. 17 minutes, 194 as a top laner. Feels real good. Leandri's almost completed as well for his third item. A lot of real cheap ones coming in, but it feels great to really start getting that one complete.
And Ruler not to be outdone. Over 200, even earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I sort of like don't even look at Ruler anymore. The guy farms pretty damn well. Him and Teddy just expect them to be about 30 ahead of the clock.
And it's Callisto with a free lane. You know, Braum has a bit more lane presence than the Alistar. The junglers weren't going there, so ended up just being free farmed Callisto, who is the biggest good news story in the early game for KSV.
Yep, well, Headbutt Pulve is going to come down Unbreakable from Core JJ, meaning that Raze is going to have difficulty getting down here, but it is a 4 versus 2, and Ruler's going to burn down. Stopwatch does come in. Can they finish him off? They're going to get Core JJ, and they grab the Callista. You do not want to complete that well, you don't need to complete that teleport, Roach. so he can shove out the top wave. 2 dead. Kongdoo Monster should be able to challenge this turret.
Yeah, that was really good by Kongdoo Monster. Really love the lane gank coming through from Raze. There's control wards all over the river, you'll see. The only way he could actually successfully be involved was coming down the lane. They have the Galio Jerome as well. Clean stuff from Kongdoo Monster. They pick up a turret. This is really good by them. This is what we want to see from them.
Yeah.
With a comp like this, it took about 18 minutes to coordinate. Really good stuff, and it should also be denying a Drake away from KSV.
The terrifying thing, though, Papa, is because we saw this from KSV concede absolutely everything against the Afrika Freaks in Game 2, in that heartbreaker of a Game 2. And Haru not going to be able to steal away the Dragon this time. That one's going to go to Raze, but evening it out, 1 for 1. And Shyvana not getting a Dragon feels real good. But yeah, it never feels like it's enough. No matter, like, until the Nexus is dying, it doesn't feel like it's enough if you're against KSV.
The only way I would even have kind of this inkling of the true comeback from KSV, or that this is fine kind of from KSV, was if it wasn't Vladimir top lane. Because Vladimir runs away with games pretty consistently free farmed, and it's in a fantastic matchup, so this is about as free farmed as you're going to get. Vladimir's late game is really, really powerful. There may be a Gangplank scaling, there may be Shyvana scaling, but the reliability of the Vladimir to get into the backline and have Hero's Entrance and other tools to assist him in getting a 3 to 5 man Hemoplague is super high this game. So with Vladimir banned away, if it was a Gnar, you'd probably say, okay, KSV, yep, there could definitely be a time. But because it's the Vladimir and the Ghost and Flash is not too far away, I do feel like Kongdoo Monster in pretty strong control of this game.
Item spikes for everyone as well right now. You were mentioning the Vladimir. He's at 30% CDR from items alone. Not sure what he's taken when it comes to runes, but could actually be already about that 40% mark. And with the Liandry's Torment already done, his damage is going to be through the roof. So 3 items strong, plus the upgraded boots. As in goes Raze, looking for Ruler, but is going to be able to create the distance. There's the Hero's Entrance.
Bounce
making
castle.
sure that Raze is just going to stay in there forever. See you later, Ruler. You're going to be the first one to fall down as... Oh, yep, does die. So the Cannon Barrage is going to do some work, but we do have it evened. Hemoplague comes in. Pop goes the Dragon. Roach is going to be able to pick that one up as now Crown. He's running away. Does at least still have the passive shield. But Kongdoo Monster, they want more. It's 21 minutes. We could see a Baron right now.
If Brom's dead, there's no frontline for Malzahar to even use or be involved. Still available in this now. QB does a lot of damage, and Secret may not be enough solo to ward off these 2 members.
We still do have the Nethergrass, but Crown's going to throw it in, not actually get anything done with it. Roach just playing frontline. This guy's a beast. See ya, Crown. You should be falling as Soul gets the last auto, wants to find Cuvée. Just an auto and a Q will get there, but nope, not going to happen. Cuvée makes it to relative safety. No Baron for Kongdoo Monster, though. That's the main thing that KSV wanted to get done with that play.
Yeah, job well done by the side of KSV, though, when they had 2 left, because with 2 left, they're able to only give up a single kill and get away a guaranteed Baron. We're going to see the replay. You don't need to hit your EQ when you have this much follow-up. Ruler doesn't get to play a lot of League of Legends in this fight. This for an extra auto because there's no way for Soul to actually finish him off, but he dies. Malzahar can't get there. You're always going to be outnumbered against Jarvan, Galio, Alistar. That's just the reality, unless the early game is just a shoddy one on the side of Kongdoo Monster. It wasn't A+, but it was a solid B. And from there, their ability to turn on in the mid-game has been very heartening to see. Haven't quite got the Baron to justify their first 22 minutes, but they're close.
Yeah, the lane assignments also worry me just a little bit here, Pup Smithy, just because Kongdoo Monster, they don't have the teleport on Roach just yet. Ghost will be up very soon. He can spellbook that one into a teleport if he needs, but I feel like Galio on the bottom side of the map could actually work out quite nicely with that TP available to him. He's gone Electrocute Galio as well, which I haven't actually spoken about just yet, but that's exciting. Bit of extra damage.
Bit of a different one. A lot of domination tree in general from Kongdoo Monsters. Domination second from Vlad, which also...
If they can't do it in the laning phase, they may as well do it in the rune page.
Does get them zombie wards more often, which is a feel-good moment, as Roach doesn't like Cuvée at all. There is a more Malmortius, so the kill pressure's not quite there on Cuvée, but he's having no fun, that's for sure.
That is true, and he gets spooky ghosted as the follow-up, and I love that. That's perfect. I'm just going to watch you run away from me and feel big and strong, says Roach. There's a Cataclysm into the mid lane. I've seen this one before, Papa Smithy, and Crown has too. Not feeling great about it. Justice Punch gets Edge out of there. This should spell the outer turret in the mid lane. Good timing from Kongdoo. Seems as soon as that R button's there for the Gargoyle, they're getting under turrets and they're killing priority targets. Not going to be able to grab this turret just yet, though, especially not on this wave, as KSV have held off nicely. The barrels from QV really are starting to hurt.
Vladimir can return. Bot side, though, keep pushing up. Waiting for cooldowns inside of Kongdoo Monster. Ults are down, so you feel a little bit of safety defending under a turret. Again, a pick doesn't actually advance their map position. They can't get Baron from that single pick, but Kongdoo Monster off cooldown. The moment they have the flash cooldowns of the enemy, their game plan is very, very straightforward. KSV are not showing us any special master or special answer for the composition they opted into. We wondered in Champ Select, was this disrespectful? Your first thought is yes. It's being cemented with how the game has gone, and because it's 8.1, we don't award the victory early anymore. The first 15 to 25 minutes has gone very well for Kongdoo Monster.
Yeah, may not have necessarily been expecting Roach to pop onto the Vladimir. Of course, been playing it in solo queue, but not so much yet here in the LCK, but has been a really popular one. Should theoretically be something that they'd be able to grab. Insult added to injury there by Raze as he just spears himself some puppies.
I mean, everyone is playing Gangplank and Gnar. You have to be ready for the Jace if you're playing the
Yeah, I mean, the Gnar was up, right? And maybe they were just expecting it, right?
You have to be ready for the Jace against Gnar. You have to be ready for the Vlad against Gangplank. These are the Flavor of the Month counters that were clear before LCK kicked off, and we've seen them in the LCK as well. So definitely one of those things where you are praying and hoping there wasn't going to be a Vlad, and the Vlad has certainly come off for Roach, who is a monster as he goes Sin.
Yep, Spooky Ghosts coming around. Crown gonna have that passive popped as Roach is gonna get him completely out of this fight. Means Kongdoo are looking to try and get in there, but Edge and Soul not quite in the right position, and Secret takes a lot of free damage. Concussive blows should go down, and look at this real dangerous area.
Roach.
In goes Roach, massive damage! Hero's entrance down as well as Roach wants to find it. Hemo Plague gives him all of his health back. Haru gets one, but that's two over to the side of the Kongdoo Monster team. And they should be able to head towards the Baron now. No one with any health on KSV. All on Roach. That was a savior move.
And he wasn't there for the start. It was really good unbreakable position and a good place for KSV to fight, but it was all to a point. It was only to a moment, and that moment is when Vladimir committed his flash to get into the backline. Free Baron to the side of Kongdoo Monster. A Drake is very hollow commiseration for the side of KSV. Will be taken, as you can see on the map. Kongdoo do advance their position, do cement their gold lead. Good stuff from them. You're going to see the replay at the start here. It's actually
it's the Cannon Barrage zoning out, yeah.
And also a very nice defensive position. Malzahar for once is shielded in a fight. Core JJ gets maximum value out of the Unbreakable, but it's all about Vladimir, the last pick that was oh so clear and obviously available for Kongdoo Monster. He jumps in, and while they're not burst down instantly, they cannot go anywhere near a fight where Roach is actually in position. He's in position there. 5 out of 11 kill participation, so for now, it's been the side lane. It's only been QV really feeling the full wrath of the Vladimir. It's soon to be everyone on KSV.
Getting a Hemo Plague on 3+ people almost means that this is a one-team fight for Kongdoo Monster as well. If Roach is going to be able to get opportunities into the backline like that, KSV really will need to rethink how they're starting these fights. I just feel front to back, Kongdoo Monster really have it, and with Roach playing the way he is, we're not used to Roach really being this sort of hard carry for Kongdoo Monster. We remember his Rise performance just not getting anything done whatsoever. He's tried different things, the casters on the top side, but yeah, once again, that headbutt pulverize was beautiful! Everyone's up and down on the side of KSV, and Kongdoo Monster underneath the outer turret in the mid lane. They'll take 2 kills, grab the structure, and probably push further forward. Edge wants to be able to get rid of the shield onto Crown so that he's no longer safe. And look at Secret setting himself up to get underneath and cause even more havoc. Kongdoo Monster with the Baron buff available will head towards the inhibitor turret. True Shot Barrage just to scout things out, and with 3 creeps here, they may actually be able to just take this, break open the base of KSV. They will. They'll do it fast. Roach continues to split push, and it's starting to look like KSV have less and less options of getting back into this game.
I mean, they've got no options, Atlas. They don't even have one locker. They could do with 2 or 3. Doesn't matter if there's a diminishing returns. You need to stop the upfront burst. that's guaranteed. The hero's entrance is going to register on 3 members unless everyone has flash, and they don't, Atlas. That was too easy for the side of Kongdoo Monster. They roll through the very, very brittle innards of the side of KSV. Goodbye, Inhibitor. One more team fight victory that we've been seeing time and time again. Game 1's over.
Yep. And this is the Raze that we saw in week number 1. Raze wasn't necessarily having the week 2 that we were expecting from him after Kongdoo Monster looked so incredibly dominant in their victory over MVP. Yes, it's MVP, but it was more how that victory actually happened. Raze looking absolutely brilliant this game. 13 out of 14 kill participation in the right places, even after a failed gank to start it off.
And it feels like both Raze and actually a jungle we'll see later today, Afrika, Spirit, have been junglers who from ahead have been very, very impressive, but from behind have struggled. And you could say that about most junglers, but I think it's been more apparent, you know. Ambition doesn't fall in that camp, but someone like Raze and also Spirit do. The confidence to play combative style, it's really invited when you draft Shyvana into a jungler. They think, okay, well, I can gank, you know, I'm pretty much in first position. If I try to invade, you're going to have to back away, especially early as the Shyvana. They invited a lot of this, they brought a lot of this on themselves, Atlas. That's what we said is, will it just be, hey, KSV's a better team, they're the world champions, they can just get around what is a pretty shoddy draft? The answer emphatically, with the LCK as strong as it is in 2018, seems to once again be no.
Yep. I feel like you've hit the nail on the head talking about just the pedigree of teams that we have. Even Kongdoo Monster's looking brilliant. And once again, up and down for KSV as Kongdoo Monster dive the turrets like they do nothing. The Cannon Barrage not even bothering, Soul's just going to heal his way through it. Ruler's dead. That's the target they wanted. There's no more dragon. The bottom lane is going to get obliterated. Kongdoo Monster probably just looking to push this through. 3 versus 5. With Roach as strong as he is, shouldn't be too difficult, but without any minions, it's going to make it more.
Waiting for the minion wave to crash. They start to come in. Here is also the Alistair. He'll tank it up for a while. Why not some bonus kills as well?
Yep, in goes Roach. Does use the pull. QSS is going to be utilized to get himself out of the way, though, and okay, Secret, you're probably going to fall out. Actually doesn't, as the tower falls down, and this will be the Nexus now going down. Raze knows exactly what he wants. It's going to be Cuvee having to eat oranges, but who cares? You've just lost.